It's nice being able to have everything on my computer and my tablet and my phone, actually, so that even when I'm on the train or something or on the bus, I can still be reading my textbook and making notes. My name's Bethany. I work as a trainee legal executive at Whitehead Monckton in Kent. My background actually isn't a legal background. I started off by doing an art degree when I was 18. Then after that, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did a master's degree. I did that at the University of Kent. And then after that, I got a job as a temp at Maidstone County Court. And I discovered that I really enjoyed working there and I was quite interested in law. So that was what led me to apply for a job as a legal secretary. And from there, I started my training to become a legal executive. I found the way that the court worked quite interesting. I used to enjoy reading all of the cases that I handled when I was at work. I just found it really interesting. So I'm in the family department where I work, so family law is the area of law that I find the most interesting. So I assist all of the members of the team with their cases. So we deal with a variety of cases: divorce and finances and Children Act matters, but also prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, separation agreements, cases where people who are not married are separating and they have properties or children. Yeah, quite a variety of different things. I decided to do the CPQ. I liked that it was a lot longer than the sort of traditional route. I could have done the SQE in a training contract, but I actually quite like that the CPQ is longer. I wouldn't have wanted to do 6 months in a family department, 6 months of training, and then be let loose with my own clients. I feel like I wouldn't be ready after such a short amount of time. It takes me a long time to get to grips with new things. It takes me quite a long time to learn new things. So for me, the length of it appealed to me and the fact that I can learn and work at the same time. So I'm kind of applying what I'm learning every day at work, which is really useful for me and helps everything sink in a bit better. It's very flexible, which really suits me. So if there are times when I'm really tired and I don't feel like studying, I don't have to. Whereas I think if I was doing a traditional course or a university degree, I'd have to go to my lectures or seminars. You don't really get a choice. Whereas with this route, I can choose what I feel like doing when I feel like doing it. I can do any of the modules in whatever order I like. And if I'm not ready to sit an exam, I can postpone it for 6 months and work on whatever I'm learning. That flexibility is important to me. It has been a bit of a steep learning curve in my first year, actually balancing my personal life with my professional life, I suppose, and making sure that I do set aside enough time to study. So for the last year, I was trying to study mostly in the evenings and then give myself the weekends to rest or make social plans with friends. But I've actually found recently that I function better if I study at the weekends because I can wake up earlier. I have a bit of a longer period of time throughout the day to study, and I can take a break for a few hours if I want and come back to it. And if I study at the weekends, I still set aside some time to do other things. But I think that's something I would say to anybody considering this route would be to make sure that you manage that and to make sure that you set aside enough time to do what you enjoy doing outside of work, because that's just as important. They give me a lot of study leave, which is nice, and exam leave. They are a very supportive firm when it comes to legal executives. There are a lot of trainee legal execs where I work, not in the family department, but in our tax and estate planning department. As a firm, they're just very supportive of this route. People are quite used to me asking a lot of questions, which they don't mind. I find that when I'm studying something, it just helps me to apply it in real life and to have real life scenarios that I can apply what I'm learning to. So it was quite useful for me starting my training and learning about legal research for the CPQ and then having to do research for my colleagues at work. I found that those two things went quite well together. I think you have to have people that you can rely on, people that you can ask questions, and if you're feeling a bit stressed or overwhelmed, people that you can speak to about that. I think every single one of my colleagues who is a trainee legal executive recommended Law Training Centre. When I was actually looking to begin studying, I did look at the traditional route and I looked at the CPQ. And when I was kind of speaking to some of my colleagues about how they're doing it and who they're learning through, they all said, contact the Law Training Centre, they're really helpful. So that was nice. They specifically said that the Law Training Centre are the most helpful. Even if you're just considering it and you don't want to commit to anything, they said that it would be really helpful to speak to you about it. I particularly like making use of the quizzes and the past papers. Again, that just helps with the way that I learn to go over things and go over them again and again. So it's been helpful to have the past papers and the answer papers so that I can see how I'm improving as I'm going through something. That really helps because it helps me feel a bit more confident about no, I can do it, I can remember it, I can learn all of this information. It's a good match, this course and the place that I'm working. I just hope that I carry on as I am and keep passing the exams. Well, seeing what my colleagues do every day, I'd like to be doing what they're doing one day. You know, maybe sharing what I've learned over the years with somebody else, the way that my colleagues do for me. That would be nice. Choosing something that suits the way that you learn. I think if you're not afraid to make time for studying, this is a really good route. For me, I really enjoy reading and I enjoy learning anyway. So if you enjoy more self-directed study, I would say that this is a really good route to consider. If you enjoy the flexibility, this is definitely something that I would recommend. I would just say as well that the traditional route doesn't have to be the only route to becoming a lawyer. And I think the quality of the resources and the quality of the course really speak to that.